What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Occult Gaming channel with me, your host, Bella Wright, and welcome back to yet more Soul Reaver news. And this is going to be the third video on Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, The Dead Shall Rise. So some new information just dropped, including this gorgeous new cover art. So we're going to go over that. We're going to go over the artist as well as additionally, with this new cover art, what dropped was a bit more information. We're kind of getting drip fed information about this new project, and everything I'm hearing about is making me more and more excited about it. So if we look at the cover here, we see some really interesting kind of details about it, including this this unrecognized character here. So we're going to get into that in just a bit. I kind of want to jump the gun and just start talking about it. As you can tell, I'm pretty excited. But we're going to go ahead and go to the article that's linked here from Games Radar. And this is going to give us a little bit more detail. I'm just going to go through the article in its entirety. So I'm going to give credit here to Will Salmon, who published this about 10 hours ago. Well, I think it's even more. Let's just refresh that. I think, yeah, 17 hours ago. So as you can tell, guys, I'm super late to the party. I had a really busy day. Ended up actually kind of hanging out at work for like 5 hours today and helping out off the clock like an idiot. That's what happens when you like your coworkers a little too much. But anyways, I'm just going to go through and read all this in its entirety. We get some really good details here. Some of it is going to be redundant to what we talked about in the last two videos, but I'm just going to go through because they kind of pepper in new details throughout. So yeah, the new book will delve into Raziel's backstory, which is kind of what we talked about before. It's been almost 30 years since Blood Omen, the gore-spattered first installment of the Legacy of Kain video game franchise, while PS1 players. While that title was followed up by 3 official sequels, including the all-time classic Soul Reaver, the action series has not received any new official content since 2003's Legacy of Kain Defiance. So this is an interesting statement. Any new official content, because we did have a game that was released, and we're going to get into that here, that was released after Defiance. So they mention here, 2013's planned multiplayer Nosgoth was a tangentially related spin-off and never officially released. This is an interesting statement. Nosgoth, I didn't keep up with it in great detail, but from what I know about it, they did have it. It was a free-to-play game at a certain point. So I think what they mean here when they say never officially released is that they mean that it never came out of beta. I believe it was in alpha and beta for a very long time. It might have even been in beta until they shut down the servers. So that may be what this statement here means. Otherwise, it's not quite factual. But yeah, if they don't count betas as official releases, even though it was free to play, that's fair enough. I'm not even sure how I fall on that terminology myself, so I'm kind of thinking about that right now. Anyways, all that changes later this year. Okay, my bad. All that changes later this year with the publication of Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, The Dead Shall Rise, an official prequel graphic novel by writers Joshua Viola and Angie Hodapp. Artist Juan Samu, letterer Jermiah Lambert, with covers by Dave Rapoza, who I believe designed this cover here. We'll get a better look at that once we scroll down a bit. With covers by Dave Rapoza and Aaron Lovett. The additional art by Jonny Bush and Ninja Joe. The Dead Shall Rise is the first release from the multimedia company BitBot Media, and if all goes well, potentially the first in a series of Legacy of Kain releases. So this is kind of new information. I don't believe that they mentioned previously that BitBot Media, this was their first release, so that's interesting to me. And I don't believe they mentioned that if all goes well, it is potentially the first in a series of new Legacy of Kain releases. So I think, to me right here, maybe I wasn't paying attention very well before. This is new information to me personally right now. Developers Crystal Dynamics has provided creative direction for the book and promises that the book is considered a canonical part of the franchise and will contain never before seen ideas and elements from unreleased Soul Reaver lore. So this we knew about, and it still excites me. So I'm glad that we have participation from the developers. They haven't mentioned Annie Hennig just yet, but these are the people who I believe still hold the Soul Reaver lore Bible. So that's good news. Newsarama can exclusively reveal. So we'll say that again. Newsarama can exclusively reveal Magic the Gathering artist Dave Rapoza's main cover in full below, as well as the news that the book will include concept art by Daniel Cabuco. So this actually excites me. I don't know if it excites me the most. I want to say it excites me the most because I really love Daniel's art. But this makes me very excited. There's a lot of details with this product that are making me very excited, but Daniel's inclusion in this is making me really, really excited. I believe this stuff is from like stuff I read years and years ago. I believe Daniel was on board with Legacy of Kain Dark Prophecy. So I'm going to have to maybe go through that in a video with you guys as well. The whole kind of development process of Dark Prophecy and a lot of the details we know about it. That's a project that I wish if I had a time machine and I could like, make something, happen with any video game. That would be the video game I would have them, release. I would use whatever resources I could, from the future to help them make that project a reality. Whatever I could do. I don't know if I could do anything, but whatever I could do to make that a reality, I would do it. That's the project that excites me the most when it comes to Legacy of Kain video games. We'll never get it, but like if we could get that project as is, maybe they could do some tweaks to it or whatever, but if we can get that Dark Prophecy, I would be so fucking happy. Anyways, we're continuing. So this is the cover, and this is a really freaking awesome cover. Like this looks like a lot of the kind of modern day best-selling fantasy novels, dark fantasy lit RPG sort of things. Like a lot of the modern covers like kind of remind me of this. Human Raziel looks awesome. Look at the armor, man. Looks so awesome. He looks like a protagonist. And we know from the game that this guy was an absolute menace. So I can't wait to see what he's about. We got Kain here. So this cover is doing a really good job of kind of letting us know who the main players are. Kind of, for like longtime series fans, is kind of telling us, don't worry, guys. Kain and Raziel are here. This is Soul Reaver. This is going to be mainly Raziel's story. We still got Kain here. And more excitingly, we got Human Raziel here. We're going to see more about Human Raziel. So that's cool. And what's really intriguing now is this badass lady vampire here. I'm saying lady vampire because what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing the same crowns that are on Kain's head kind of adorning her head. So I haven't zoomed in on this just yet. This will be my first time. But yeah, I'm seeing the same crowns that are on Kain's head. Kain's an evolved vampire. Thousands of years of, or several thousands of years of evolution. She's the same way. So she could possibly predate Raziel. This is interesting to me. It's very possible that she was, it looks like she's related to Kain. I'm wondering what era she's from. I'm wondering, is she from the era of Human Rise? Or I'm wondering, is she from the era of the Apocalypse? Not quite the Wraith Raziel era, but just before, when Kain had his vampire empire going. I'm only okay with series timelines. Like I don't know them by heart. I don't know like if there's specific terminology for the timelines either. But I kind of just know when events in the game happen during what timelines. So yeah, I'm wondering, is this like start of Soul Reaver 1 timeline, like just before Raziel gets thrown into the abyss or what? But we do get a few more details over here, so let's go ahead and get to them. The Dead Shall Rise's story explores Soul Reaver protagonist Raziel's past when he was still a human warrior, the Seraphim warrior here. leading up to his transformation into Kain's vampire lieutenant. So already we're getting, well, they're saying up to Kain's transformation, up to his transformation into Kain's vampire lieutenant. But I think we're probably going to get a little bit of the vampire life of Raziel. So I think, this is a pretty big assumption on my part, just to let you guys know. But it looks like we're going to get some, quite a bit of time into 2 eras of Raziel's life. Human Raz, Vampire Raz, and if you look at the cover, we got Wraith Raz too. So I think we're going to get some insights into 3 different eras of Raziel's life and unlife. So I'm really excited about that. Big time Raziel fan here. The graphic novel also promises to introduce new characters, including a vampire with connections to both Raziel and Kain. I think that's going to be this badass right here. This young lady. At least I think it's a young lady. I'm pretty sure that's a young lady. Well, she looks like a young lady, but she might be very old. She's most likely very old. Could be. I mean, I'm seeing breasticles here, so I'm thinking it's a lady. The face could be androgynous. It is Legacy of Kain. Human or vampire Raziel is a very beautiful vampiric man. So if this was a dude, I wouldn't be surprised. Or if it was, a non-binary character, I wouldn't be surprised. But it looks like a female vampire. Raziel's story spans centuries, offering rich material to explore. Seriously, it really does. There's so many eras that you can dive deeper into in this series that it's just a landmine for all sorts of stories. That's why I'm so open-minded to like new characters in the series, as long as it, we aren't doing any retcons or nothing like that, because the world is so unique in Soul Reaver, in Legacy of Kain in general. Anyway, this quote is from Joshua Viola. Raziel's story spans centuries, offering rich material to explore. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, The Dead Shall Rise, not only fills in the gaps, but fleshes out his character in surprising ways, revealing what shaped him into the Raziel we know and love. We have lots of surprises in store beyond the graphic novel that will blow fans' minds. There's a lot here that I'm getting really excited about. There's a lot here in this statement here. So we're going to get some characterization and some character growth from Raziel. We're going to actually get to see how he transfers from this to vampire to this up here. So this is amazing. That's already like really exciting. So we're going to get some character development from him. I'm thinking it's going to mostly take place with human era Raziel. I think we're going to get a lot of sort of what led up to his confrontation with this Raziel, for those of you who know. But beyond that, what is this? We have lots of surprises in store beyond the graphic novel that will blow fans' minds. This is a crazy statement for us fans, because this gets your mind racing all sorts of different ways. The first thing that comes to my mind is we're going to get some video game content. I'm guessing we're going to get those HD releases or HD re-releases on minor systems, I should say. But this could mean like way more than that. So I don't know. Like, what do you guys think this means? Like, do you guys think it is a multimedia company? So maybe we're going to have like toy lines. Maybe we're going to have some animation. There was a really cool Newgrounds video about 15, maybe 20 years ago at this point. It's probably 20 years ago. Who am I kidding? Of Kain versus Raziel. I used to spam that video like every day. I used to watch. It was like a fight scene with Kain and Raziel. Dude, it was so good. It was so good. I used to watch the hell out of it. It kind of had like kind of anime-esque sort of tropes in it. Like, Kain would do an attack and then like it would create this big cloud of dust. The dust would settle and you see like Kain still standing there or Raziel still standing there or whatever. It was kind of like taking a Defiance fight and putting it in like a like animating it or whatever. It's really cool if it's still out there, because like I said, it's about 20 years ago. Highly recommend you look it up. But dude, what is this? I'm super excited about this. All right, we're almost done here. I'm sorry to keep you guys for so long. It was important to Josh and me to find, after 20 years, the right place and time to re-enter the world. Which, honestly, as a writer myself, let you guys know I am a writer. This would intimidate me to no end, because even as a fan of the franchise, it's like, where do you jump in? And where do you jump in to like keep people interested, And where do you jump in to keep people interested while reassuring them that you aren't forgetting about what the series is about, like, without rehashing stuff that's already been done in the series. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not an easy job. What they're being tasked to do is very complex, and it's more so prone to failure than it will be success, because there's so many different levels and layers to it that something like this, you fail at it more than you succeed. But I'm getting more and more confident in this team the more I read. So let's continue. So this was the co-writer Angie Hodapp who said this, and I think that's a really important statement, a really important thing to kind of realize. Continuing on, she says, "We wanted to find new stories about these characters that felt organic to the original canon, which is also a very tough thing to do. Stories that would excite longtime fans of the games, with plenty of familiar elements, while also inviting new fans to join in. Also a very tough thing to do. Legacy of Kain has so much lore to it, and it's a time traveling story too, with different eras. Like, there's a lot, and for you to satisfy new and longtime fans is gonna be I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. That's gonna be really tough. So with that in mind, and with the directive from Crystal Dynamics to introduce new characters, so that was a directive from Crystal Dynamics. Interesting. This is very interesting. This is really interesting. Like, I read this before I started recording this, but for some reason I kind of glossed over this before. This is actually really important. So why do you guys think that there would be a directive from Crystal Dynamics to introduce new characters? I think it's pretty obvious if you've been keeping up with their attempts to revive the franchise for like the last decade or so. They kind of need to introduce new lifeblood into the series to keep it going, because otherwise they'd be working entirely with tools that weren't theirs, and I think a lot of people wouldn't appreciate that. I think to a certain degree, they have to introduce, like, kind of like what Amy did in the first place with Raziel compared to Blood Omen. Like, Amy worked on Blood Omen with Dennis Dyack and Silicon Knights, but in order to take that idea to the next, to their new era with their production company, they had to introduce a whole new character that we eventually ended up absolutely loving. Raziel, he became the co-protagonist. So I'm willing to give this new era of the franchise that same sort of grace. And if this is a new character, cool. Like, I'm about it. I know a lot of people, they're gonna cry woke and all this stuff. There's not a lot of that in this franchise, but a lot of people will cry woke because of this character, female character, whatever. But listen, man, she already looks badass. She's already ticking a lot of really cool boxes for me. So if this is a new protagonist for this, like, kind of in between era from what we're used to, just before we kind of get like Apocalypse Soul Reaver, dude, I'm all for it. I'm all for like a new badass female character. Like, dude, Underworld. We had Underworld for like so long. That was a badass lady vampire. Freaking Blood Rain, Anyways, with the director from Crystal Dynamics, this still interests me though. Like I get it. I get why they want to introduce new characters to keep things fresh. I get it, and we could talk about that. I really want to hear you guys' opinion. I think that's why I'm sticking on it for so long. I want to hear other people, like what other people have to say about this. But we'll move on. So yeah. So is a directive simply to just introduce new characters, or is the whole directive here introduce new characters while keeping the story tight on the known cast? Is this whole sentence here the directive, or is just the introduce the new characters part the directive? Very interesting. Very interesting to dissect that statement. But very tough too. I just want to just continue to hammer home. They have a really tough job here. So I'm going to give them some grace, give them some time to cook, as the kids say, and see what the story is going to bring us. Because I wouldn't envy this task on anybody, what they have to do, after 20 years of this franchise. So Josh and I explore Raziel's past, specifically his human past and the genesis of his wings in the days before Kain cast him into the abyss. Really cool stuff. This is why I have a bit of confidence in the team, because this is a really good choice here. We've explored quite a bit of the pre-Blood Omen era, the Blood Omen era, the post-Blood Omen era. We haven't explored a lot with Raziel yet, outside of him reliving Kain's past and kind of tracing Kain's steps through history and his role in Kain's destiny. We haven't really seen his history play out in any detail. We've seen the cliff notes, we've seen the big moments, but we haven't, like they say here, we haven't seen the details of that. So we haven't completely fleshed it out. That's the word I'm looking for. So I'm super looking forward to this. And that's the strength of having a novel instead of a video game as well. You can spend a little bit more time. And there's a graphic novel, mind you, but you can spend a little bit more time, a little bit more detail with character work. So, did I finish this yet? I don't think so. Specifically, his human past and genesis of his wings in the days before Kain cast him into the abyss. I might actually finish that. There's no official publication date for Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. The Dead Shall Rise. This is kind of a clunky title too. I think they should pick either Legacy of Kain or Soul Reaver. I know this is branding right here. This is just straight up branding, which is fair. But it's a clunky title. Even when I'm like titling the videos, I'm like, which title am I using? Because it's like 3 titles, series title, and then I guess that's fine, but it's just a lot, because Legacy of Kain's already a lot. So no official publication date, but we'll be keeping an eye on this one, and we'll be sure to update you when they know more. So I already told you guys about the BackerKit. Just gonna click some links, show you guys right quick. That's gonna be our BackerKit page. It went up by 1,000, so it's going up pretty slow. I definitely want to see more interest, because it was like this. I think I made that video about 8 or 9 days ago. So it was at 2,000 8 days ago. It was at 900 9 days ago. So this, you would think it'd be up to at least like 5,000 by now. So hopefully this, hopefully this gets out a little bit more. Hopefully I'm helping. But anyway, we got the BackerKit. They do have the Kickstarter page up as well, though you cannot do anything with it just yet. You can notify on launch though. That's cool. And we do got quite a bit of followers here. So yep, you can be notified on launch. I think the BackerKit is just kind of a shortcut to the Kickstarter. But yeah, that's all I got to talk to you guys about today. We could harp on some of these statements up here a little bit longer, but I'm not going to keep you guys much longer right now, because I've already kept you for quite a bit. But yeah, man, this is it's pretty good stuff. I think I'm going to dissect this a bit more as we go, but I'm super excited. Artwork is super badass. Again, make sure we get his name right. He deserves all the credit in the world, because it's going to get people interested. I believe Dave Rapoza, right? Yep, Dave Rapoza. That's our cover artist here. So Dave Rapoza, I'm actually more interested in his art now, because he just brought these characters like to such a good level here, man. Like, this is so cool. And I like the details of, the Lake of the Dead, the abyss in the background here, like the cliff. Suppose where Kain held council, maybe they held council up here. This is so cool. Raziel's armor is so cool. It's like it was in the game, but with more details. I think it's a little bit different because the wings don't come out as much, but I think it looks better here actually. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited. How about you guys? Let me know. Let me know, guys. Let me know in the comments below. I definitely want to hear you guys' opinion on things, but I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. So appreciate you guys. Want you guys to take care. Make sure you guys are taking care of not just yourselves but your loved ones as well. But until next time, everybody. Peace.